Hi, everybody. Welcome to Grab Your Keys. I am very excited today to have a great friend and a great entrepreneur with me, Elizabeth Convery. She is the CEO of a huge coaching platform that she just started, runs a huge team at Compass, and is a mom of two. I think the world of her. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. And I also think the world of you.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's so nice to have such a great group of women that we can call on and work with and be with. And it is just very comforting and to know that we can always talk to each other and be sometimes in those vulnerable places when you have such great women friends. Uh,
So true.
yeah, I
And
don't think
also,
that
Sue, don't you think it's so rare too?
I do think it's so
Like you
rare.
have to I've found in my life that you have to cultivate those friendships and you have to kind of seek them out sometimes.
Yeah, there was a time in my life that I really felt that I just wasn't suited for friends because some of the friends I had just didn't jive with me anymore, or they didn't understand the pressures that I was under at work, or just didn't understand the changes in my life that I was going through.
Mhm.
And to find a tribe of women, especially through like the entrepreneurs organization,
Mhm.
do really understand that you can run hard, play hard, work, do a lot of different things, but also have that soft spot of knowing, that there's vulnerability. And that's what makes us
Mhm.
also be so successful. So, yeah,
Yes.
you do have to cultivate your tribe, and it takes a long time. I feel like I'm just cultivating at like 50 plus. So, you're a lot younger than me. So, you're cultivating it younger, but you have done so much in your career. Where why don't you tell everybody what business that you're in and what you do so that they can hear it
Sure.
from your voice?
Yeah, so I wear a lot of hats. I've been in real estate now for 19 years. It went by really quickly. I started my career in commercial real estate, moved into residential in 2013. I left a brokerage in New York where I was selling hotels to get into residential sales because I didn't find that I was making any kind of difference. I was really just making people very rich, which is totally fine. But for me, I'm 41 now. And so I'm a millennial, and millennials like to connect with their work, and I wasn't connecting with my work. So I made the switch into residential real estate. I started an independent brokerage called Very Real Estate based in Philadelphia, in downtown Philadelphia, in 2013. And I had never sold a house a day in my life, never. I had sold commercial buildings. I had been on the investment management side, had bought commercial buildings, didn't really know much about residential. So I took a huge leap of faith and started, got a broker's license, started a very small shop. I grew that shop to actually be the first independent to partner with Compass when they came to the Philly market. So I joined up with them in 2019. Today, I run a team of 9 people, including myself. And when I turned 40 last year, I went through kind of this, I don't want to say a crisis. It was not a midlife crisis, but it was sort of one of these things where I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do for the next decade
Right.
and what I could do to give back even more. So I launched a coaching business in October of last year called The Confident Agent, a system for growth and success for women in real estate. And that's where I'm spending a majority of my time helping agents realize their dreams essentially through real estate sales to fund it.
So, how do you help? How do you help the agents realize their dreams?
Yeah. So I really did a lot of research. I think that, through my path and through building my own team, I stepped out of the day-to-day sales probably 3 or so years ago. I always laugh. Last year, I sold 5 properties myself, really just to stay fresh. I think it makes me a better coach, but my team really runs my business. I've been coaching my team one-on-one for about 5 years. And so what I did was I took what I was really good at with my team, which was taking a brand new agent, totally new license, has no idea how to build a business, teaching them how to build a book of business so that they're making six figures or more in a relatively short period of time, a year to 2 years max. And so that's what I did. I spent all of last summer I spoke to over 50 women in real estate in the early stage of their career to see where the holes were and what they needed. And so now I teach them that process, but in a way that they can put their own stamp on it.
Yeah, that's great.
So I
That's
think a
super.
lot of real estate coaches, they say like, here's the process and you can't deviate from it. But as women, we have so many things going on outside of business that when I say design your life, it's like, well, how do I fit my personal life into my business, excel in all the avenues that define success for me, and move the ball forward. And that's what this coaching program does.
Yeah, that's amazing. So are you just working with new agents? If somebody who has had experience, would you have anything for them?
Yeah, so my Confident Agent program is an online course. It's a group coaching model, and it's a community of women helping each other and really growing together. I launched that in October. In March of this year, a woman came to me who's a team lead of one of the ladies that I coach in the Confident Agent, and she said, I would like to, I love what you're doing with her, but what can you do for more senior agents? And I said, well, let's do a brainstorm. So that led to me launching in April. So it's only a month old now, the Power Collective, which is a small group coaching model, 8 people maximum. And it's designed to put women together who are at similar stages of business and life. Yeah, because I believe in holistic coaching. And so it's really a peer-to-peer model facilitated by me in a group setting. And so that's our second program launch. And I don't know where I'm going to go from here. I mean, it's all kind of organically coming together. And I just love that.
Yeah. And I think that having things organically come together is the best, because that means that it was meant to be, and it just every step you take is an easier step.
And I firmly believe in that. I think what I've learned in my life, right, as a woman in business, as just in business in general, is when you are trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, it does not work. And I've tried for years. I mean, I made so many mistakes along the way, as we all have, to really fit that mold and make that what I needed to be. When really, the minute I kind of gave it up and said, like, I have enough confidence in myself to know that I'm going to be just fine. And all of a sudden the opportunities just flow. And that's I think such a really wonderful way to go into my 40s.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you used the confident agent, and you used that you had enough confidence in yourself. One of my favorite words is confidence. And it's so funny because one of my favorite words is confidence, and another one of my favorite words is vulnerability. So, you think that they are polar opposites, but they're very,
not at all. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. And so, how do you feel to be as successful in anything? You need to develop something with your confidence.
Sure. And I think it's I firmly agree. I think that, and I feel like I could go for hours on this topic, as I won't, but let me see if I can succinctly say this. I think that women, we are reared differently, right? And there is so much imposter syndrome that comes into our being because we're natural nurturers, because we are people pleasers, because we want everybody to be happy. And so in many ways, we define our success by the happiness of others. And when you can really label that and say, okay, this is why I'm acting this way, then you can start to see the patterns, and you can come into that level of confidence to say, this isn't the way it's going to be. No, it can be a different way. Let's try this. And confidence is something that it can be taught. It can absolutely be taught. Self-esteem can't. That's the internal work. But the outward confidence can be taught through various exercises. And, I've read many books about this. But I think it is the key that will propel you to that next level, working
right. I train a bunch of new loan officers, to about a dozen, and I can see once the confidence clicks that there will be success.
No
It's
doubt
as
about
soon
it.
as that clicks. So talk to me about what you believe your three keys to success are.
Yeah. So I think your key, my personal, so number one, I think keys to success are personal to everyone.
Mhm.
We are really ingrained to think that success is the amount of money that we have. Success is, how many listings, if we're in real estate, we currently have, how big our teams are. For me, success is really, there's a few things. One is I fully own my calendar, fully own it.
Right.
And I worked really hard to be able to do that. So one of the things that I do every day is I take a walk with my daughter who's 15 months old. I love that I can do that. So that to me is a key to success. Another is a supportive environment. I am so fortunate to put myself in rooms with people that I want to be with, whether it's the team that I've designed at Very. I love those people in a deep way. I'm invested in them emotionally. I think that's so important. The people in my coaching program, I'm so critical of making sure that yes, I can teach you the process, but are you going to be a person for others? The friends that I have, and really at the end of the day, my family is so important to me. Like looking at my husband and having a true partner in him and the children that we have is such a key to success. And then the last is the way that I feel about myself every day is a success for me. The fact that I can look in the mirror and know that I love who I am. I've worked so hard to love this version of me. And so that to me is an enormous success.
Yeah, they're all amazing. So let me just dive into a couple keywords that you
Mhm.
just said. Uh, invested emotionally. That's
Mhm.
they're awesome words, and I feel that women in general are told to take the emotion out of it. I
Mhm.
feel that to be a great leader or to be a great salesperson, even though I don't classify myself as a salesperson, that you need to have that emotion in it because you have to have that empathy. You have to have that it being in it with the people around you. How when you say invested emotionally, I mean, I couldn't even do my job if I wasn't invested emotionally. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So really believing in your core that you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Moral compass.
it's just very simple. And I have to say, for years, I started in commercial real estate. I shared that with
Mhm.
you. I was the only woman in the room so frequently. I was so frequently the only one. And I felt that I couldn't be myself emotionally. I couldn't be empathetic in many ways because it looked weak or it was perceived weak. But what I've learned is that's actually a superpower.
Yeah.
And if you harness it correctly, you can take on the world. I mean, it's like wearing a cape.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yes. One of the other phrases you used was person for others. Can you define what person for others? That's a great nugget. It's a great
Yeah.
nugget for people to hear person for others.
Yeah. So, my background, I'm Jesuit educated. I don't know if you know anything about the Jesuits. They're kind of a sect of the Catholic Church, right? And but they're very they're full of education, and they're all about kind of next level learning, and it's a way of thinking. And Jesuits are person for others, and these are so when you're a person for others, you're the best version of yourself. I think this is my definition of it, the best version of yourself so that you can be that person for someone else,
Yeah.
right? So if you have, they always say, like, if you're not happy, the people around you are not really going to be happy, even though you're trying to make them happy. So being a person for others to me means one, being a person for myself, being true and genuine to myself, and then leading with this idea of hospitality always.
Yes.
You think about the way we entertain and the way that our lives are, we welcome people into your home, you feed them, you care for them. I bring that to everything that I do
Hmm.
as a person for others, but it starts with the way I feel about myself.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. When you say that you have a true partner in your husband. How does that make life better for you?
Yeah, so I married Chip. My husband is Chip. I married him when I was 35, and I waited a long time to find the right person.
Mhm.
My parents been married for, gosh, 45 years. My mom told me once, she said, marriage can be, and they have a beautiful marriage, a fabulous marriage. She said, marriage can be very lonely if you don't find the right person. And I remember I always had that in the back of my mind as I was dating. And I dated a lot through my 20s and my 30s. But when I found my husband, it was different because we connected really on an emotional level. He is the first person that I call when things are good, when they are bad. I trust him. Obviously, you trust your spouse. I trust him implicitly, even with business decisions. I run so many things by him to really understand a different perspective. And I find that being a successful woman, I don't know if you've found this in your life. Men can be very threatened by that, and he never was. He is my biggest cheerleader, and he's the first one to push me forward and really push me out of my comfort zone. And that, I think, makes all the difference in what I do every day.
Push
Is
you out of your comfort zone while making you feel secure in that you're being pushed out of your comfort zone.
sure that when I fall, I'm going to fall on a nice pillow because he's going to be there to catch me. And that is so, I know because I've dated enough people, I think that's super rare. And that I think, and I'm that for him too. And so as a result, we are this couple that, people have said to us, like, you could do anything if you just do it together. And it's like, yeah, I think we probably could because we have that level of support.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you have two babies. So,
The
how,
joy of my life. Like, am I beaming thinking about the two of them?
yeah, they're so super beautiful and cute,
Thank you.
um, and healthy. So, how do you balance filling your cup
Mhm.
business wise while also filling your cup mom wise?
So I think it really starts with, look, I'm not great at it, and I don't love the word balance because I think it's never balanced,
Yeah.
right? If you're going to be real about it, it's not. Like, something is going to give. I'm just really trying to make sure that what gives is not me. For a lot of years, I put everybody else before me, and then I would be exhausted, right? So blending my life, but making sure that I am taken care of first has made all the difference for me.
Mhm.
So a few things that I do is I make my schedule as such that I will be there for the children when they need them. My husband's in the Navy, so his schedule is not flexible at all, and
Yeah.
it's dictated, by the U.S. government. So it's like you can't really say, "Look, I'm not coming. I can't be here." Whereas mine, I shared with you, one of my successes is that I can run my own schedule.
Right.
So I do. I take Jack to school every morning. I love that. It's so special to
That's
me.
great.
I take Cece for a walk every afternoon. I love that. That's so special to me. I waited, a long time to get married and to have children. So I've elevated being a mom to really kind of the top of everything that I do. It is the most important thing that I do every single day is to be there for those children. And my schedule, thankfully, is flexible enough that I can be.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's great. Yay. I love that. When you fully own your calendar, how have you mastered? Do you just time block everything?
Oh
How do
no, I am wacky about this. I mean, not wacky. I feel like I've figured it out. So I say no so much more than I say yes.
Yeah.
So much more. And that's not who I was, even 5 years ago. Because my time there it's finite. That's it. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. I know what my priorities are. And if what I'm saying yes to does not serve those priorities, I don't say yes to it. I
Yeah.
just don't.
That's
And
hard to learn.
so sorry?
That's difficult to learn for some people.
For sure. I mean, I'm doing a webinar on it tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
a topic that people need. But so I am a huge proponent of the Eisenhower matrix. Have you ever used that? Do you know
No.
about this?
What is
Okay, so
Eisenhower
it's
matrix?
called the Eisenhower matrix. You can Google it. It's basically on one axis, important, not important. The other is urgent, not urgent. So I am consistently putting everything I need to do through a funnel of, okay, is this urgent and important? If it is, I'm going to do it. If it's important but not urgent, I'm going to kind of put it aside. I will do it, but I'm not going to do it today. If it is urgent, but not urgent and not important, you shouldn't be doing it. This is something you can delegate. And so I put everything that needs to get done through this, and then I'm masterful at blocking my time around those things. And I also work from a goal-oriented task list. I think as women, or as everybody, we have a task list. These are the things we have to get done. But there are things that are more important on that list than not. So I try every day to make sure that whatever goals I'm trying to achieve, there's something on my list that's helping me move that ball forward.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome because you are very goal oriented. Who do you admire?
I admire you very much. I admire so many women that I've gotten to know over the years in business. And I think that having mentors at all stages of life, not just friends, but also mentors, is so important. And I have many in my circle that I've rely on a lot for not just the what do you think about this, but what do you think about this emotionally? How should I show up for this in this way? And I think that that's really important.
Yeah, I love that a lot of people have given me, women mentors have really given me a great amount of information of helping me raise my children.
Oh my gosh.
And, I'm on the complete other spectrum, in age of children as you are, but you really do need different women mentors, even for business, but also for home, because the knowledge that they can give you, like remember my children have gone to a private Catholic school and they have Kairos, like this retreat that you go to.
Very similar.
They didn't have that when I went to my Catholic school. And one of my friends, said, do you know what's going to go on? And do they're going to get this letter, and the letter from the mom can be really emotional for them, but sometimes they have to read it out loud. And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, so make it lighthearted.
Great.
And I was like, great advice. And then I have paved that forward with others. And I've said, I know you're going to write this, make it kind of lighthearted. And I think it's a great exercise that even if your children don't go on a retreat, as a parent, then in their senior year, getting ready to go to college, writing that letter of the joy that you've had for your children over those years, and then being lighthearted about it and saying, like, when we found out you had the party because of the beer in the basement, that probably was not one of your stellar moments in life, but,
we admired your leadership and your ability to market it and get the room full.
Yeah. So when you were trying to figure out how you were going to raise that $1,000 you needed for school, all you needed to do was charge 10 people $100 at the $10 at the door. You would have made a lot of money. So, and they were like, why didn't I think of that? So, that they are those times in your life where it's so important for you to remember that mentorship. And then also remember, which I think is so important, to pave that forward in the future, and to remember the great gifts that you didn't even realize were little great gifts as you were getting them.
Well, I'll share one with you that you shared with me. Maybe this will help you. So you and our group of women in EO, I was saying, it was a few years ago, actually, maybe a couple of years ago, I was saying one of the really cute things that Jack did. And one of you, it might have been you, it might have been Marcia, one of you said, start writing it down. Get a notebook and write it down, because your son is going to grow up and you're not going to remember these things. So I took that advice, and I have been keeping a notebook for each of my children. And I write down all the funny and adorable things that they say. And then recently I gave that advice to one of my girlfriends who has a younger child than my oldest. And I said, these ladies told me to do this, and I'm having so much fun with it. And so you're exactly right.
Yeah, just pave it forward. So I love that story. If you weren't any of the professions you've been, what would you be?
That's such a hard question because I love
What
who I
you
am.
were. Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
love who I am. I mean, to a point, like I can't imagine doing anything else. I
Yeah.
mean, I love the life that I've built.
Yeah. And I think that you've constructed that life for you, which I like that it's been intentional.
Mhm.
And I love that. So, what's in the future for Elizabeth Convery?
Ooh, let's see. So, my coaching business is starting to snowball, which I look at and I'm sort of amazed by, but then I'm like, well, I have been working hard. So, stop with that. So, we have 24 people enrolled in the program. My goal is to have 100 women enrolled in the program by the end of the year. I'm so excited to do this. And then I think that this next decade, my goal for the next decade is to impact as many women in real estate as I can. I think the sky's truly the limit. I mean, how you probably know this more than I do, Sue. How many realtors are there? I think there's 1.5 million
Yes.
realtors right now. How many of
There's
them?
1.5 million realtors, and I will help you with empowering and impacting real estate women, because I agree with you on the same level for people, mortgage people, men and women. There's only 80,000, so
Yeah.
1.5 compared to 80,000. And I'm pretty sure that there's not as 50-50, and I'm pretty sure there's probably more women than men in real
Oh,
estate.
I think there are. I think it's
Yeah,
something like 65% of them are
yeah,
women. And so that's my goal. I mean, my
yeah,
goal is to show women truly you can have the life that you want, but you have to believe in yourself and you have to be willing to be brave and do things that, people are not going to be happy about. You're going to have to say no more than you say yes, and you're going to have to surround yourself with different people maybe than you are right now, but creating that environment, getting that community, you can do anything. And
yeah.
that is awesome. That to me is the best thing that I can give back.
I agree with you. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Yes. So my Instagram handle is at elizabeth.convery, Convery. My website is elizabethconvery.com, and you can reach me there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us today. I have been amazed. You've given so many great nuggets. Everyone, you might have to listen to Elizabeth's podcast on Grab Your Keys once, twice, three times, because she has imparted such great information. So thank you so much for being so generous with all that you give to the community that you're in. You are a great friend. I've loved getting to know you over the years. And thank you so much for being on Grab Your Keys.
Thank you for having me, and I just adore you. So big hugs to you.
Big
Thank you for having me today.
So,
Lovely to see you.
so everyone, if you have anyone who is interested in hearing this podcast, please share it with your friends and Grab Your Keys, and have a great day. We'll see you next time on Grab Your Keys.